For months, an unsettling shadow hung over the highest echelons of professional sports. Behind the stadium lights, the deafening roars of sold-out arenas and multi-million-dollar contracts, elite athletes across the United States were being quietly, methodically hunted. Not by aggressive linebackers or tactical defense coordinators, but by a highly organized international criminal syndicate. Among the high-profile victims were two of the biggest household names in football: Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes and star tight end Travis Kelce. Now, the brazen cross-border spree that baffled investigators and deeply rattled sports superstars is reaching a dramatic legal climax. Federal prosecutors in Florida have formally requested the extradition of two Chilean nationals, Ignacio Zúñiga-Carte, 21, and Bastián Jiménez Ferrero, 28, from Argentina back to the United States. After pulling off a series of calculated, high-value break-ins and fleeing across international borders, the two alleged migrant bandits are finally set to face the unyielding weight of the American justice system. The burglaries were far from random acts of opportunistic crime. Federal authorities described the operation as part of a sophisticated phenomenon known as crime tourism, or South American theft groups. These organized rings deploy specialized crews who enter the United States under visa waiver programs or illegal crossings, systematically target affluent communities, and execute lightning-fast residential burglaries before law enforcement even knows what hit them. Their playbook was simple, cold, and terrifyingly effective. Strike when the world was watching the targets do their jobs. The thieves carefully mapped out the schedules of high-net-worth professional athletes, utilizing public game calendars, social media posts, and travel itineraries. They knew exactly when homes would be vacant, when players were on the team bus, locked inside locker rooms, or flying across the country for away games. In early October, the ring set its sights on the Midwest. On October 5th, intruders bypassed high-end security parameters to break into Patrick Mahomes' sprawling home estate in Belton, Missouri. Just 2 days later, while the Kansas City Chiefs were under the stadium lights at GEA Half Field at Arrowhead Stadium, defeating the New Orleans Saints on Monday Night Football, Travis Kelce's residence in nearby Leawood, Kansas, was struck. The thieves made off with an eye-watering haul. Tens of thousands of dollars in hard cash were swept away alongside high-end designer luggage, custom jewelry, rare luxury timepieces, and priceless personal keepsakes, including Kelce's prized football memorabilia. In total, the ring is accused of looting over $2 million worth of valuables across a wave of hits targeting stars in the NFL, NBA, and beyond. What makes the case as infuriating as it is surreal is the sheer hubris displayed by the suspects following the break-ins. Unbeknownst to them, federal investigators were building a digital paper trail, aided in part by the suspects' own arrogance. Evidence recovered during the multi-agency federal probe revealed the crew posing for photos holding stolen heavy safes, showing off stolen stacks of cash, and wearing stolen luxury watches and designer clothing. To the bandits, the dangerous game of infiltrating American luxury mansions was a massive triumph. Realizing that local police forces and federal law enforcement, including the FBI and Homeland Security, were closing in, Zúñiga-Cartes and Jiménez Ferrero triggered their contingency plan: escape. Slipping through the cracks of domestic border surveillance, the duo managed to flee the country, eventually seeking refuge in Argentina. They believed that by putting thousands of miles, dense jungle borders, and international legal bureaucracy between themselves and American authorities, they had successfully pulled off the ultimate heist. They were wrong. If the suspects believed international flight would grant them permanent immunity, they drastically underestimated the reach of federal law enforcement when high-profile American figures are victimized. When federal prosecutors in Florida charged the group with conspiracy to transport stolen property across state lines, a severe federal felony, a massive international manhunt was set into motion. Working hand-in-hand with Interpol, the FBI, and Argentine police, federal agencies tracked the fugitives' movements across South America. The net finally collapsed around Zúñiga-Cartes and Jiménez Ferrero in South America, where local law enforcement intercepted the pair. Now sitting in holding facilities thousands of miles away from Kansas City, the former fugitives are waiting for the formal extradition process to conclude. Federal prosecutors in Florida are actively pushing to have both men placed in handcuffs on a plane bound for the United States. Once on U.S. soil, they will stand trial in federal court, facing potential prison sentences that could lock them behind bars for up to a decade. The arrest and upcoming extradition of Ignacio Zuniga Cartes and Bastián Jiménez Freo mark a crucial victory for law enforcement, but the broader implications of the case continue to reverberate throughout the sports world. For years, high-earning athletes lived under the assumption that gated communities and private home security systems were enough to keep their families and fortunes safe. This saga proved that sophisticated international crime rings can exploit the public nature of professional sports schedules to turn multi-million-dollar estates into vulnerable targets. The ordeal has already forced sports leagues, player agencies, and security firms to completely overhaul how high-profile stars handle privacy. Armed security details during travel days, non-disclosure agreements for home service staff, advanced cyber tracking for perimeter defense, and strict blackouts on real-time social media posting have fast become standard operating procedure for elite players. As for Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, the recovery of stolen goods can never fully restore the violated sense of security inside their own homes. However, news of the extradition request offers a measure of long-awaited closure. The era of international crime rings treating the homes of American sports icons like personal piggy banks has met a hard stop. Two men who thought they could outrun the law are about to find out that no matter how fast or far you run, American justice eventually catches up.